Alright, so, excuse me, yeah. How's everyone doing today? Everyone good? Everyone good? I'm so sorry I came after that story. I'm so sorry. So my story is obviously titled The Island Girl. Hold up, let me just put on my glasses. Okay, finally I can see all you beautiful people. So before I begin my story, who here has been to Boracay? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Wow, almost everyone. See, the last time I stood in front of a group of rich people, I was in my school. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Of course. But basically, whoever raised their hands, tell me what's your favorite thing to do on Boracay? You back there, who raised their hand? What is it?
Swim.
Okay, swim. Swim. Who else? Who else? Anyone? You.
Pub crawl.
Ha! Pub crawl. Okay. Is it safe to assume that like half of the people who raised their hands, like, something along the lines of partying, pub crawls, drinking, swimming, and participating in those, those tourist trap attractions that those people wave their flyers at you? Is it fair to assume? You see, okay, I'm gonna share my favorite activity to do on Boracay. Here goes. My favorite thing to do on Boracay is suffer. Yeah, that's right. Cause thing is, when you grow up, and okay, my mom's Taiwanese and my dad is Filipino, and even though both of them are artists, I kind of get the worst sides of both cultures. So, which means if you're Filipino, you're technically not allowed to like talk to boys or whatever, and you're not allowed to, and with Taiwanese families, you're not allowed to go out. So basically, I was in prison. So all throughout my childhood, I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't allowed to have friends. It was one particular story. I gave my friend my phone number because she wanted to ask me out for a sleepover, and you're like 6 years old, so you're like, okay, sleepover, sure. I give her my phone number. She calls the house. My dad picks up. He throws a fit. He changes the house phone number, and tells me never to give anyone my phone number again. And that was the end of my social life.
Jeez, what a dick.
Thank you. But basically, so that's how I grew up. Not a lot of friends. Since, when you're on Boracay and you're a kid and it's like a party island, everyone hangs out with each other, you go to the beach, you swim. It's not to say that I never went out, it's just that whenever I went out, I had like a bodyguard. Okay, she's not a bodyguard, she's like a maid who goes with me, but basically I still can't do anything. So growing up that way, I made myself a promise. Every single day, every single night in bed, when I get out of here, I'm gonna be so crazy. And for a while, I told myself that, and then in high school, I sort of started to figure out who I was, and I started getting into like fandoms, and the one thing that was fun on Boracay was every night, since my parents couldn't make up for my social life with actual friends, my dad made it up with showing me movies. So every night, I didn't have a bedtime, that's why I'm so short. I didn't have a bedtime, so every night was a different movie. We went from 1940s, 1920s silent movies to John Wayne and Christopher Nolan and all that crashy stuff, and my mom would just cower in a corner going, "Why are you showing her this? Why? She's a girl." I heard that a lot in my life. When you grow up with Taiwanese family, that's pretty much how it was. You can't do this, you're a girl, you can't fight, you're a girl. Yeah. So, movies were my solace. So when I got into high school and then to college, I kept this love of movies, TV shows. So Star Trek and Star Wars were a big part of my life. When I got to college, I was right. I got crazy. First month, I would go out like every other week to like drink and party, and thing is, my parents never let me drink growing up. You know how your parents are supposed to prepare you for later life? They just sort of kept it all away from me. So when I got to the problem, it was a problem. So my friends would be like, what is going on with you? How many did you drink? 1.5. I had half. And so I didn't know why I did it. It's more of like when you had no friends growing up, you suddenly have all this freedom and all you want to do is hang out and be part of something. And that was not the right something. Every night when I went home, hair messy, makeup all over the place, probably holding my heels in one hand, I just look at myself and go, is this really a lifestyle I can keep up with? Over time, I realized that it wasn't the life for me, so I sort of started to wean away from those set of friends, and they're not my friends anymore. But basically, there was this deep, gaping emptiness that I had. And somewhere along that emptiness, I met my lovely boyfriend. He's in the front row, that sexy piece of ass right there.
That's
right. So basically, I met him, and he was such a nerd. First date, guys, first date. He spent 2 hours talking about just lightsabers. I'm not even kidding, not even like Star Wars as a whole, just lightsabers. I love you, but yeah, lightsabers, come on, guys. Okay, so throughout the course of our relationship, this has sort of kept us going, our love for fictional shows like Star Wars, and I introduced him to Star Trek, and we talk about, you know, musicals, and we're very into theater. So one day I found an ad, and it was for a theater workshop, and we joined. And it was the best month, probably, of our lives. It was really nice, but obviously it had to end, because that's the thing with workshops. They end. So after the end, I love him, but there was still this like great emptiness inside, because I couldn't fill it up with like booze anymore, because I wanted to keep that side of me away, because alcoholism is not a solution, guys. Alcoholism is not a solution, just saying, PSA. Basically, one day, in my depression stupor, he sort of calls me up and he says, hey, there's a lightsaber meetup. There are people who meet up for lightsabers. Will you go with me? And I was reproachful, you know, it was finals week and I had school, so I was sewing, and then as I was sewing, I was like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I go to SOFA, by the way. I'm a fashion student, so that's why I was sewing. I'm not just some weirdo who sewed in school. I don't just lug my sewing machine around. No, I'm not that kind of person. I could be, though. So basically, he calls me up and he's like, you want to go? And I'm just sewing there like, what am I doing with my life? I don't want to do this forever. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going. I didn't have a saber. I don't have a saber. Still don't. Because I'm poor. But basically, I went over and I had this, and I was wearing a white dress and I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a costume, and whatever costume I had, well, I don't keep track of things very well. I have a very small apartment, but a lot of things. So, I don't know, my sock could be like in the washing machine. I don't even know. So, basically, I decided to go. I was in a white dress, and I was like, you know what, I have a fur jacket. I'll just go as like an anthropomorphic wampa. For all of you who don't know, a wampa is this big furry animal creature that tries to eat Luke in like one of the Star Wars movies. I still don't know them by like number. I'm sorry, guys, I love you, but I don't know.
We talked about this.
I make up for my stupidity with my beauty. Thank you. So basically, I come over and he lends me his brother's saber, and I walk in and I see these like so many people with just lightsabers, just like spinning them, talking to each other, and the first thing that goes to my mind is, wow, what a bunch of nerds. Oh my god, what have I got myself into? Look at them spinning their sabers and talking about Star Wars. I want to be part of it. I want to be part of it. I want to. So basically, we started talking to the people there, and then we discovered Lightsaber Philippines, and still I was reproachful, because when you grow up trying to fit in, you try to fit into like the popular crowd, and I tried to suppress that nerdy side, because that's what my parents and whatever everyone expected of me. I mean, not my dad, obviously, because he's just such a big nerd, but basically, I was reproachful, and through prodding, gentle prodding, I finally agreed to, you know, go along. And I went to the first meetup, and nobody talked to me. But, understandable, since I didn't talk to them either. But slowly, someone did talk to me, and we started spinning, and that sort of ingrained, you know, girls can't fight thing was like so in there that I just wanted to like beat it out. So I was waving the saber like crazy the second I learned like the easiest move ever, and it gave me such a boost in confidence that I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna do this forever. So throughout the course of my time in Lightsaber Philippines, which is not a lot, but in fairness, Lightsaber Philippines is very, very young. I not only gained skills that I can use in daily life, you know, beating up bullies. I'm kidding. I not only learned how to utilize the suppression from my childhood, the anger that I had in my loneliness, the sort of, I don't know. There's just something about being a part of something that makes you feel so complete. And being with Lightsaber Philippines, I not only gained something, a purpose in life, which is something that I know a lot of people are looking for, and I'm so fortunate to have found. I gained a family that supported me in whatever I wanted to do, and a family that pushed me to do the best I can do, and a family that doesn't tell me to slack off on my finals just because I'm enjoying sabering way too much. Because it was finals week, and I was designing sabers because I wanted to be worthy of one, so I wanted to build one, which is hard. But I was designing it, and one of the members, C2, he just looked at me and went, "Finish your finals first, then we'll talk." Which is great, because I finally did it. Because at the time, it was due like 2 days later, and I hadn't even started it yet. But bottom line is, this was a group I didn't feel pressured to be in. This was a group where I could be myself in, with a group of people that I loved and shared so many similarities with, no matter where and which walk of life they were from. And I'm just so thankful to have them. And yeah, may the Force be with us all. Thank you.